We are committing generational theft. We are laying a huge deficit on future generations of America. You're going to have inflation and debasement of the currency and great problems that will directly affect the people we're trying to help.
Senator John McCain there calling all of this borrowing and spending to stimulate the economy generational theft. But President Obama insisting the $787 billion stimulus, which is now law, will keep the American dream alive in our time. So what do younger Americans think about all of this? Joining me is Alexander Hefner. He's a 19-year-old freshman at Harvard University who today launches Scoop44.com. It's a nonpartisan web publication where young journalists will cover the new administration from their perspective. Alexander, it's great to see you this morning. Congratulations on the launch of the new website.
Thank you.
We'll get to that in just a second, but let me ask you first of all, from a young person's perspective, about what Senator McCain said regarding the stimulus package. He called it, as we said, generational theft. You're the generation that will be left holding the bag on all of this. Do you see it that way?
Well, I was at the President's news conference, and my sense after speaking with some colleagues at Scoop44.com is that not acting could be generational theft too. And if the Obama administration could articulate this plan as generational investment in bridges, infrastructure, education, then I think it could be a very persuasive case not only to our generation but to Republicans as well.
The Bush administration racked up $5 trillion in debt, which they're going to pass on to your generation and probably to your children and your children's children. Are we at the point here where another trillion doesn't really matter all that much?
Well, I think it does matter if the president can send the signal that that money has benchmarks and that policy that's being implemented has a time frame and it's set so that my generation and future generations can pay off that debt over time. It is, John, concerning that we are continuing to see this soaring deficit in national debt. But if it's a road to a sounder financial future, then I think it's what's necessary. And from our reporting at Scoop 44, that seems to be the case.
Right. $100 billion in this stimulus package for colleges and schools. Is that enough, do you think?
Well, if this bill was specifically now legislation targeted at education spending, then perhaps not. But because we're in these dire financial times and we've reached a point of no return potentially, I think that it's a good start, and it does send a message to our generation that the president cares about the Department of Education, his Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, and that it is really a chief priority for him.
I want to talk a bit about your website here, Scoop44.com, launching today. I guess this is an outgrowth of Scoop08.com, which was following the election. Your mantra is a new generation, a new politics. We'll just put up the website here so that folks at home can see it. Got a great story here on Jocko Riggs, who's our long-standing CNN cameraman there at the White House. What's the mission of the site, and what kind of stories are you looking to cover, and what kind of perspective will you bring to the whole dialogue with young journalists covering this administration?
Well, what is a new generation and a new politics? It means, John, to us that we have a lens, a unique lens through which we can view the new administration, and that we, in a sense, are a demographic that was galvanized by this new president to engage in our democracy. So we'll be following in a nonpartisan manner this new administration, national politics, public affairs generally. It's an opportunity. Anyone can sign on now to Scoop44.com, get involved, submit an application to join the endeavor. But basically, we care about substantive reporting by young people. I think we can be treated as young, responsible, smart adults who finally take our civic responsibility seriously.
Sounds good. I was looking through the website today. It looks fine. And love the article on Jocko. He's a good old friend of mine. Alexander Hefner,
a great guy.
Good to talk to you this morning. Congratulations and best of luck in the future. We'll check back with you.
Thanks, John.
All right. Take care. It's 48 minutes after the